Hi, this is George Sefton, and you're listening to the official ARW.
Naby Keita is a Liverpool player. How good does that sound? This is the reaction show to the breaking news out of Germany that Naby Keita will sign for Liverpool officially this Sunday and become a Liverpool player. Jono, if anybody had said to us going into this window that we'll lose Phil Coutinho, but Naby Keita and Virgil van Dijk will sign for Liverpool, we'd have taken that, wouldn't we?
Oh, wow, absolutely, yeah. No, look, all you listeners have heard me harp on about long enough about Keita, saying how good he's going to be. Now everyone's going to be able to see for themselves.
He best be good now.
No pressure there, mate. And he's probably going to take the number 8 shirt as well, so...
Yeah, no pressure at all.
No pressure. Let's hope he's broad shoulders. But yeah, no, you look at it, and I just have it scribbled down here quickly as we pull together. On the left is the out. It's a world class player of Coutinho has left the club. Create a bit of creative dynamite. Really, could create one of those players that can get him change a game and with just one moment of magic, even though he mightn't even be involved in the game. But on the other side, we have Virgil van Dijk and we've Naby Keita. And this to me is two world-class players, and it's steel, it's leadership, it's snide, it's speed, it's quality, it's aggression, absolutely box to box, such a dynamic dribbler of the ball, such an aggressive player, such a Klopp player, and so a player that's going to absolutely smash up the league, and there's no doubt about it. I think this guy is going to get so good that people are going to hate him. He's going to be like this pantomime villain where people are away crowds.
Ronaldo was.
Yeah, away crowds are going to give him shit the whole time. He's going to get a lot of yellow cards, probably a few reds in there as well. But this guy is just going to take, along with Van Dijk, he's going to take this team to the next level. And to say I'm excited about him is an absolute understatement.
John, just to ask you about the actual transfer, because I've been thinking about this whilst the news has broke over the last few minutes. Do you reckon this was Liverpool's plan all along, to agree the deal so it was firmed up, but then always go back in January and try and get him a little bit earlier? Or does this say more about the state of our squad and what we're trying to do for the rest of the season, that Klopp has decided now he's going to go in and renegotiate maybe an extra 10 to 15 million? We're not sure on the final figure yet, but to get him in early. What are your thoughts?
Initially, I would have said that they would have just kept the agreement to buy him in the summer, but it's since kind of transpired from the way that Klopp was talking that it kind of seems like it was an inevitability that Coutinho might go in January. The way he seemingly down tools and his attitude wasn't perfect. When the transfer windows are opened and, feigning injuries at important times, etc. So it kind of seems like this might have always been the plan. But even if it wasn't, it's a good piece of opportunism, and we're getting a world-class player who's, unfortunately, he's going to be cup-tied, but he's going to have 6 months to bed in ahead of a full pre-season, because obviously Guinea aren't in the World Cup, so he'll start next season like a freight train, hopefully.
I think that's a really good point, actually, and that's going to be good for all Liverpool fans to hear. And yes, he's cup tied, but it's not the end of the world, is it? We've got plenty of things that we're still competing for, and
like if he secures us second place in the league and an FA Cup win, it's well worth it. Like I love the Champions League more than anyone, but the Champions League is an added bonus.
Well, look. Let's be really realistic about this. The Champions League is we're going to have a really lucky run in the Champions League to get there, and Liverpool aren't always known for our luck. But we'll see. I mean, he's an exciting player. I think saying he might get a few red cards is going to be a massive understatement.
I was trying to be positive.
I mean, did you hear about Costa getting back the other day? He came on as a sub or something, got a yellow card, scored, and then got another yellow card for his celebration and got sent straight back off.
Yeah, it was typical Costa, wasn't it?
Keita might be like that. He's going to come on, score a world. He's going to score like a 30-yard volley, and then he's going to headbutt someone and get sent off.
Yeah, no, Keita's going to be the type of guy that gets a yellow card for, a fairly normal yellow card, and it's like, keep your head, and then smashes somebody for no reason.
It's like that Balotelli story, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
He is going to be like that. I mean, look, Klopp will get his temperament under control a bit, but that's going to take time. He's not going to suddenly come in, get a hug from Jurgen, and all his anger is going to leave his body. And do you know what? He probably wouldn't be the same player without it.
No.
I mean, I know we hate him, but look at the likes of Roy Keane and those kind of guys. They were famed for their temper and their anger, but it was what made them steely players. It was what gave them that touch of class. And I think that Naby is exactly the same, so you don't want to change him too much.
No, you don't. And it's that bit of dynamite really in the middle of midfield that we're going to get. Like Coutinho had a bit of something unpredictable to his game, but it was more of in a skillful way.
Yeah.
Whereas Keita is just this raw aggression, you know.
Do you know what it is? It's the fear factor. So there'll be teams that are worried about now trying to play past him, not just because of his attacking ability, but because of his defensive ability as well, and the fact that he can be a nasty little shit in that midfield. People are going to think twice about trying to run past him with the ball, which is great, and that's something that Coutinho never had. I mean, Coutinho definitely had the fear factor for defences, but once they were in midfield and on the attack, they didn't give a shit about Phil Coutinho. They were not worried that he was going to come back and do a Mascherano and just kind of slide in from behind them or whatever. You know, there was none of that from Phil. Naby, for me, he's not a direct replacement by any stretch of imagination, but I think he was always the replacement, if that makes sense. As we lost one big player, we were going to bring in another, which is why I think the deal was agreed for the summer, because we were really hopeful that we could hold on to Phil until that point. And credit to the club for saying, okay, well, Phil's got to go, so we'll go and get our guy now then as well.
Yeah, look, to be fair, just before we keep on jizzing over Keita, I think Edwards deserves a couple of moments here. Like this was a difficult deal, a deal that looked dead in the summer, a player that we thought was going to end up in Munich. We were all absolutely ecstatic in the summer when we signed the pre-deal, say, and the fact that now that we've been able to bring it forward even more, just to suit ourselves, and to replace it. And this is a weird kind of statement, and. Like, as you all know, I love Coutinho, and I'm on the record. He was my favourite player at Liverpool out of the current squad. But Keita is so much more a Klopp player, if you know what I mean. If you guys, do you see the point I'm trying to make there?
Yeah, he fits the system better, and that's ultimately what matters more.
Mm-hmm.
And we know Klopp is wedded to the idea of a team, of harmony between the team, not just of signing class individuals. That's not how he sees the game. So I think he fits it. He fits his system and Klopp's ideals as a manager so well, despite the fact that he is going to cost a lot of money
and get a lot of red cards. Look, I think what's interesting at this point as well, and you all know I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist anyway. What's interesting is as all the news is breaking all around the place with Germany and reporters, UK reporters who know Germany very well, all having very good contacts at Leipzig, confirming that the deal is done. James Pearce is tweeting the complete opposite and basically saying we've moved no further forward, nothing is agreed, blah 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 blah. But that kind of worried me at first. But what I would say is that there's a few people pointing out that James Pearce was also reporting that there'd been no contact between Liverpool and Southampton about 24 hours before his medical took place.
While he was taking the bloody medical.
Or was it while he was taking the medical?
Yeah.
So there you go. So James, and I'm not going to say James Pearce is wrong and making this stuff up, because he's not, because it's been, I'm well documented in saying I think he's a puppet. He says what he's told to. He says what he's told to say. So this isn't about James Pearce at this point, because he's a nobody. He's just a mouthpiece. But I'm now looking at this thinking, why are FSG doing it again? So while they do it, are they worried about someone stealing in the deal? I mean, what is that about? Because they did it with Van Dijk. Van Dijk's having the medical whilst they're saying to this reporter, listen, tell them that there's been no contact. And here we are again with Naby Keita about to become a Liverpool player, and James saying, no, it's not happening.
Do you think a lot of it is just the fear of what's happened and the reaction with Van Dijk initially in the summer? Yep. And it's like, oh God, let's not make this happen again. No. Who Keita?
Maybe.
Who is it?
Maybe. That's a very good point actually. So maybe they've learned their lesson, but they've gone too far. So instead of just let's not say anything until the deal's actually done. This time it's let's just say the complete opposite. Like, we don't even know who this person is. He's walking around Anfield getting a tour right now. We're like, who's this? Who's this bloke?
In fact, the deal in the summer is off.
Yeah. We haven't signed a pre-agreement. No, don't remember that.
The narrative was that Tom Werner kind of ruined that deal by kind of, announcing it loud somewhere.
I heard that.
Yeah. So maybe they're just cognizant of not making the same mistake again because it just makes a club.
What I mean, but they're doing the complete opposite now.
Yeah, total shutdown.
So instead of just saying nothing, they're saying, "Oh no, don't know who this guy is."
They're like they just send mixed signals all the time. They don't really.
Well, you gotta look at it the other way. Like, we all saw the photos of Keita training midweek for Leipzig, and
well, no, he wasn't, was he? That's
well,
we saw Keita sat on a golf buggy watching other people train,
drinking a can of Coke.
He's playing on his phone, I think.
To say he wasn't that concerned about his performance in training that day was a little bit of an understatement, and his mind was definitely further afield.
How can you play for an energy drink though and get passionate about it?
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a bit of a low blow, but there's no. What's the history there? Oh well. In 1982, we introduced this new ingredient that made it yellow.
The actual club is like 6 years old. Like, it's
Jesus.
It's a shill. Like,
I bet Robbie Keane could still have dreamt of playing for them his whole life. It was his boyhood club.
I want to be on the wings.
Growing up in Dublin, dreaming about it.
But yeah, no, look. I'm going to put it out there. I've said it many times. I'll just repeat it.
What a player!
Keita, overall player of the season next season.
Yeah,
and absolutely. Our new number 8.
And our new number 8.
I'll put you.
Go on, John.
Who's like Naby Keita in the Premier League? There's no one in terms of style. There's no one close to being able to do what he can do.
The only way I can describe him is a better, more attacking, more all-rounded version of Kante.
Yeah. I tweeted yesterday that he's like if Kante and Modric had a baby, because he reminds me of Modric a little bit in that he's really smooth. When you see him running, it doesn't look like he's going full pelt, but he actually is.
His driving forward reminds me of a full-strength Yaya Toure, where he just kind of grabs the ball and goes, my turn. No stopping him.
My turn to
and
play now.
It's like you're watching someone play FIFA because you're like, this shouldn't be happening. That doesn't make sense in the normal confines of football to see someone do it so easily. But he does.
And
I'd love to see him push himself.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But can you imagine with Klopp like getting him fully focused on a team, on a role in the team, and he's that box-to-box midfielder? Wow. Like, we saw glimpses of Emery charging forward, especially towards the end of some of the recent games. Leicester and Burnley come to mind straight away. But can you imagine Keita doing this on a consistent period as part of our play, just getting the ball and driving and running? And the one thing you can't underestimate either with him is he's a player with serious technical ability. Like this guy can finish. This guy can dribble. A lot of people, when we were first linked to him, saw that he's a holding midfielder. Like in the mold of Kante, he's not. He's very much a skillful. Like for large periods. Last season in particular, they played a 4-2-2-2 formation. He was on the second 2 as pretty much just the free roll, so that was just up and down. And watch some of the range of his passing, some of his finishing, his dribbling skills. He's just all action. He is this gegenpressing Klopp mold player. And
we've also got a leader in midfield now, and somebody who won't be afraid to be vocal and tell people where they need to be and put them in their place. And that's something we've been really missing. And that's not a dig. Mm-hmm. That is something we've been missing, and we were noticing we were missing it at the back as well. And that's been highlighted by the fact that after one game, everybody's talking about how Van Dijk was controlling at the back, how he was shouting at Karius, how he was controlling the back line. So I'm glad that we've now finally got somebody in midfield again that can do that. We've not had that as in that capacity since Gerrard and Carragher.
Yep.
And I'm not comparing the two styles of play at all, but in that way, in as much as there's a leader on the pitch, both at the back and now at the front, and somebody taking charge and seeing out games. And I think Milner's probably come the closest, but he's not a patch on Gerrard or Carragher.
No,
Yeah,
definitely.
and the spine of the team is starting to grow again. Like, and you look at it. You look at it. We're now going to be able to play another 10 yards forward up the pitch because we'll be able to sit our back four on the halfway line because Van Dijk will be able to lead, he'll be able to organise, he'll be able to sprint back if needed, but most importantly, he'll be able to read and cut off attacks pretty early. And Keita, sorry.
I was going to say, go on.
No, I was going to add on to that. So you have Van Dijk pretty much marched on the halfway line. You've Keita who's going to be able to pick up the ball and just drive, and all of a sudden our midfield is packed forward, and then we're able to press and squeeze, and we're just totally playing the ball in the opposition half. Then, and you add in maybe Alisson in the summer, a keeper that can sweep and sit a little outside his box just to cover off that bit of space, and all of a sudden you have a mould of an aggressive, powerful, strong team that can play. Exciting times, folks.
Absolutely. And one of the things I was going to say is he's got a footballing brain as well. He's got some intelligence about him. I think that's something we've been lacking as well. And as much as somebody like a Kante to just kind of do those niggly little fouls and break up play in midfield when there's a decent attack on, you just run across a player and knock him down, and you might get the yellow. You're definitely giving away a free kick, but it just gives you time to reshape. I've seen Kate do that a lot, and he knows when to give someone a little bit of a shove or when to go in hard with someone to let him know he's there. He's just got that footballing intelligence, and that's going to help us to see out games as well. The comment you made about Alisson is a really good shout, because I think we definitely need a keeper. I was thinking about this the other day, and somebody asked me a question, and I've got to be honest, the question really made me think. He said, you imagine what Jurgen Klopp doing to Liverpool, what he did to Borussia. When he had them firing on all cylinders and had just a solid team there. A really great squad if you look at it on paper even now. And you picture that's going to take maybe another 3 years, something like that. Do Karius or Mignolet play in that side in 3 years?
Mignolet definitely not. Karius maybe is the number 2.
But that's what I mean. So so if you look at it in that perspective, that's how you judge where the areas you need to improve. If this is my all-strength squad, how many of these players actually play? Our front three, yeah, definitely. Keita, definitely. Lallana, probably. Van Dijk, definitely. Keeper and the rest of the defenders, maybe. I mean, the youngsters, it's hard to say that, maybe, because it depends how they develop, doesn't it? Because we've all seen it where players have started to progress really well, and then they just hit a ceiling for whatever reason, and they never really progress beyond that point. We mentioned him off air, but Jay Spearing, a prime example of that. Jay came into the first team. He was captain of the reserves, doing a great job. Came into the first team, started to do well, got that game against Real Madrid, and was just seeming to make a name for himself. And then suddenly one day just stopped progressing, stopped getting better, and that was it. It was like he hit his ceiling.
And the thing is, as well, with Gomez or Trent Alexander-Arnold, like Trent could easily end up as a number 6, and Gomez could easily end up as a right-sided centre half. So, there might be a bit of flux in terms of player position. And Klopp,
I think that's fair as well.
Yeah, Klopp is well known for switching players. I mean, Lallana deeper, Henderson deeper, Firmino was at number 9, etc., etc. So it could be something that happens again in the future.
I'll tell you one thing he's not doing here that he did at Borussia. So we can't look and judge exactly, because obviously he, as a manager, he's developed and learned from that experience as well. So he's improved. But I think one of the things that does surprise me is his transfer policy at Liverpool has been quite different to that at Borussia. You never would have seen him going out and splashing 70, 80 million on a player. I mean, I know the market was different then, but even if you take it back and say 50 million, when was the last time he spent 50 million on a player at Borussia? He just didn't do it. In fact, it took a while, but the Borussia fans ended up just trusting his judgment. When they signed a player they'd never heard of before, they'd still get excited about it because it was Klopp that had signed them.
Yeah.
So, Lewandowski being a prime example, he was nothing before Klopp. Yeah, and that might be a really harsh comment, but he wasn't. He was nobody.
He was not, he almost signed for Blackburn, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, it's because the ash cloud.
That ash cloud, yeah. Like, he would have ended up with Sam Allardyce under Blackburn. Like, and how different his career could have been then. But yeah, and what I like about it, and this is the evolution of the Klopp squad / Klopp team. These are a very particular mold of players. They're strong, aggressive. They're good ball player, good technical ability. They can play in a number of different positions. They're very fluid. They can move around, and you take your prime example of a big lump of a centre half that we might have got from a team lower down in the league, and you think, they're rigid on the halfway line and they just absolutely kick the ball in rosette every time they get the ball. Yeah. But Van Dijk is complete the contrary to that. He's a skillful, beautiful player on the ball, and all of a sudden, like John, you made a very good point there about a Trent maybe playing in midfield. Like, that'd be unheard of with a right back just being able to tuck in and be natural. And even in game, he's building this army of kind of aggressive, strong players that can just
leaders. This is the word that I've been using all season. That Liverpool at the moment don't have any leaders, and we've made an argument for Milner. But Milner aside, and I don't even think he's a great leader, but he's probably the best we had. But it's leaders, and if you look at Klopp's, again, his Borussia squad and his Mainz squad, he was surrounded by leaders. He was surrounded by big, strong, vocal, active, lead by example kind of players. And, if you look around that Liverpool squad, I mean, even our most talented players, you wouldn't particularly say they were leaders. Yeah. I wouldn't call Firmino a leader. I wouldn't call Salah a leader. I wouldn't call Mane a leader. I wouldn't call Coutinho a leader.
And I think as well, you look at some of the players we're linked to, like Goretzka, big, physically imposing man. I mean, it's clearly something that looking to add to the team. And,
absolutely.
In the Premier League, you need a bit of that.
You need a bit of bite, don't you?
I think Man City are an anomaly because invariably teams that have done well in the Premier League have had big men. Even the Arsenal teams who played nice football, like if you want to go back as far as Petit, but even after that, they had the likes of Gilberto Silva, Vieira, big men who could handle themselves.
Well, it's that bite, isn't it? It is that bit of bite. So, while we're talking about anomalies, Leicester City, when they won the league, they had a team full of shitheads. They had nasty, niggly little get stuck in. Kante was charging around midfield, it just being an absolute head case. Vardy was just nuts. These are players who just get stuck in and they've got that bite. And that was one of the things that I absolutely loved about Mascherano. He was just a nasty little bastard, and that's why I liked him, because he just gets stuck in. He was vicious. Suarez, I was going to say Suarez had a bit of bite, but but he did, didn't he? In every sense of the word. You can take that however you want. Suarez had a bit of bite, but it's players like that do well. That have got that something about them, and Van Dijk's got it, and Keita's got it in bucket loads. And that's really exciting. That is really exciting. I just can't wait to see them play together.
I think Liverpool are going to be horrible to play for opposition next season. Horrible, because what are you going to do? If you go toe-to-toe for them, they'll absolutely mince you on the counter-press and have all the pace to hit you. If you park the bus against them, now suddenly we have players from deep, like Van Dijk, like Keita, who can break lines, and you can kind of help us against bus parking teams. So I'm not saying that we'll win the league because
what he's doing is the opposite of Leicester. Leicester knew that was going to be a one season, and they just went with the role, and wherever they ended up was going to be great at this point because they were picked for relegation at the beginning of the season, and here they were at the top getting a nosebleed, and they saw it out, and credit to them for that. But it was always going to be a one-off. They were never going to do that again the next season. This was not Leicester City now in a position where they were breaking into the top four every season and had cemented their position there. Klopp is building longevity. He's building a team that's capable of not just winning the league once, but consistently being up there challenging for titles. And that's exactly what we want him to do.
And this is how you do it. I mean, all of our fans want success yesterday. But, I mean, look at Man City. Even with oil money, it took them years. No, Chelsea are probably the only one that just clicked their fingers, but people forget that Chelsea were in fourth when Abramovich bought them because they beat Liverpool in the last game of the season and wanked Jesper Grønkjær scored to get them Champions League football. So it's
but you've also got to remember when Abramovich came into Chelsea, money changed the game, so he could go out and buy whoever he wanted, and he made them the best squad. The problem with that now is that City can do that, and United can do that, and. So Chelsea, it's not just about how much money you can splash anymore. I mean, bless Abramovich, he can't spend anything anymore because his ex-wife took it all. But that's why they're making some really weird signings. Drinkwater and Andy Carroll,
Barkley, like they used to sign like amazing players that you would drool over, and now they're these shit houses.
And Conte is 100% not going to be there next season.
No, gone.
Without a shadow of a doubt, he'll be gone next season. Yep, absolutely.
Into the United job.
You know what they should do? They should have like a white-collar boxing thing between Conte and Mourinho and raise money for charity.
That'd be amazing.
They'd
raise so much money.
Conte would kick him to the ground, yeah.
Yeah, Conte would kick his head in.
He's an ex-pro. He's got to be a little bit fit still.
Yeah, but he's got money on himself as well. But listen, Naby Keita as a Liverpool player is very exciting, and I think it's nice to be excited again, if that makes sense, because I was excited in the summer, but you have to try and contain it, because at that point we've got a really exciting player, but we've also got a full season of football to play now where he's not here. So we can't get too excited about what's going to happen next year. But now it looks like he's a Liverpool player. He'll be announced within the next couple of days. It's phenomenal.
Sunday, we believe, and the fact that we're getting him in, and I know it's not the Champions League, but FA Cup and League is going to be the bread and butter of defining our season, and he is going to make a huge difference. Like, people talk about players needing a couple of months to embed into the Premiership and all that. I don't think this guy is going to need it.
Top 4 or FA Cup? If you can only have one.
It has to be top 4. As much as I want a pot, it has to be top 4.
Yeah, and that's I think, John, you hit the nail on the head a minute ago. You said a lot of fans want instant success. I'd be interested to put that poll out on ARW, actually, because I'm not convinced that most fans would agree with us. I think there'd be a lot of fans that would say, no, we need a trophy. It's been so long since we've won a trophy. We need FA Cup. It's
definitely generational, though. Without trying to without trying to pigeonhole people, I think the older people would be much more inclined to want to win something. Like, we all want to win something, but top 4 gives you like the platform to do it consistently. Like, when we won the League Cup in 2012, we're like, great, now this could be a platform. It was like,
provided you don't turn into the old Arsenal. I used to hate that. They'd win nothing, but they get top 4, and it was just, that was enough.
That's what I was thinking when you mentioned that Liverpool are signing leaders now, because I was thinking we could very much be like Arsenal, play lovely football and like batter all the small teams, but at the big moments when the shit hits the fan, we'd fall away because our players are just
no leaders.
Yeah,
that won't happen anymore.
Graham Souness said it, sons-in-laws, like, the kind of guys like, be happy if your daughter brought home, but we're signing a few pricks now, but they're also talented pricks, so I'm happy.
And they're our pricks, more importantly.
It was like Suarez, wasn't it? Yes, he's a crazy bastard, but he's our crazy bastard.
I love when opposition fans hate our players, because it means they're doing something.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, as I said, this is one player that's going to be top of the hate list.
There's a saying or something that goes like, if you're hated, that's good because it means that you've stood up for something once. Because you've got to put your head above the pulpit for somebody to notice that you're there to hate you. So you've stood for something that you believe in. If somebody hates you, might be the wrong thing, but we've now got players that will not be afraid to stand up and make themselves count, and that is really, really exciting, because I've really missed that. That's on top of their playing ability. That's probably the thing I miss the most about Gerrard and Carragher, is that you always had confidence when they were on the pitch that they just grabbed it. I mean, particularly Stevie, he just grabbed the team and the game by the scruff of the neck and say, "Fuck you, then I'll do it myself." And he'd just almost shame everybody into keeping up with him. He'd still be charging around at the last minute of the game. Van Dijk's going to be exactly the same, and so is Keita.
And how loyal Van Dijk and Keita is going to be to Klopp is unbelievable, because they've turned down bigger clubs and more money, and basically down tools of their current club in order to come to Klopp. So I think these guys will run through walls for him.
Listen, I know we've said this before, but I'm going to take the opportunity to say it again. We are so lucky to have Jurgen Klopp as our manager.
Yeah,
I cannot think of a person in the world that I would prefer to be manager of Liverpool Football Club right now than Jurgen Klopp.
No, there's different managers for different kind of jobs. So under these parameters, he's perfect. There's no one better.
Perfect.
The only one that would be close is Simeone, but then, would we want Simeone's kind of football? You know what I mean?
No.
So, Klopp is ideal for it. He can work on a budget. He's passionate. He knows how to harness the fans.
Without trying to go all poetic, it reminds me of that Bill Shankly quote that I was made for Liverpool and Liverpool was made for me. it is like the perfect match, isn't it? We're the perfect club for him, and he's the perfect manager for us.
Yeah.
With his situation, our situation, his traits, our traits, it just fits perfectly.
Yeah. And he's a romantic, and this is the most romantic club on the planet. Nearly to a fault, we're the most romantic club on the planet. So.
Yeah, and you just look at we spoke about Van Dijk, Keita. These are huge superstars of the game. Top of a lot of teams' transfer lists and wish lists, and we've just gone and got them. And after struggles where we were told no deals weren't going to happen, they've happened, and that's obviously it's largely down to there's a lot of work behind the scenes. But I think the number one factor here is Klopp. That's the common goal.
I agree.
Both of them, that he's able to attract this stature of player, which it's not that long ago.
There isn't a team in the Premier League or any league, but let's just use the Premier League. There isn't a team in the Premier League that wouldn't take Van Dijk or Keita off your hands, given half a chance.
Absolutely.
Everybody wants Van Dijk.
Yeah, and I don't think the spending is finished, and there could even be a few more before the window closes.
Yeah, cocktease.
It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. No. We have money to spend.
What is going on with FSG?
They're listening to you.
Yeah, well, maybe. You're welcome, Liverpool fans.
I think they're really...
I'm taking full credit for the Keita deal and the Van Dijk deal.
I think they're really conscious of how they're perceived now. So after selling Coutinho, I think they'll want to make a statement.
Yeah,
because FSG, if you cast your minds back, Klopp was the first manager they tried to speak to when they first came. So they have their man, they have their system, which was like a director of football / sporting director in Edwards. So this is how they want to run the club, and they have the perfect people in place to do so, and the perfect system.
Was it FSG, or I'm pretty sure it was FSG that were talking with what's his name?
Ancelotti?
No. There was a Killsman. Was it Killsman?
No, that was Hicks and Gillette.
Was that the wrong one?
Because
never mind. Same
country. They were. Who was that? That guy who was the US manager that did okay. Oh yeah, he'll be okay. He'll be okay.
Yeah, we'll ask him.
We'll ask him. Yeah,
never mind. I was going to say I wonder whether it was him that pointed them in the direction of Klopp, but given it wasn't talking to them, probably not.
This is what I have a little thought that's just randomly flashed into my head. You guys know how weird my mind works at the best of times, and we could probably do a full show on this one. And this necessarily isn't my opinion, but it's one of those, sometimes you think of something that you go, oh, this is going to end, this is going to start a huge debate, a huge long discussion. But,
oh God.
Okay, so here we go. Maybe the reason FSG were so tight with their money is because they didn't have a manager that they could fully believe in and trust to spend. And now that we've got Klopp in, a manager that's their first choice, they're now spending money. Drops mic and runs.
No, it makes total sense because Rodgers wouldn't work with the
Sorry.
I don't want to get all like tinfoil hat weird. Rodgers never gave the transfer committee signings chances relative to his own players, right?
I think my head just exploded.
I told you it's one of those things that just starts an hour-long debate. But
I totally agree with you because first of all, you can only spend money if these world-class players want to come to you. I mean, Rodgers used to get Gerrard to text Tony Kroos because nobody knew who the fuck he was. And now you see Alexis Sanchez is probably moving to Northwest. What yarn were we spun when Sanchez turned us down for Arsenal? Oh, he doesn't want to live in the Northwest. No, it's because he didn't know who fucking Brendan Rodgers was. We have a manager who players want to work with. I think it's as simple as that. So they'll back him sufficiently because if they don't back Klopp, they'll back nobody and they should fuck off back to America, basically.
Okay. I'll try and go in the middle ground here because I can just see the rage that's starting to come through.
I can't work under these conditions.
All I will say is there's no doubt that the attraction and the pulling power that Klopp has helps signing these players. And to be fair to him, I don't think Rodgers would have been able to pull in
Van
Dijk or Keita.
Look, I'm incredibly impressed that they're backing Jurgen Klopp with the players that he wants, particularly for the amounts of money that we're having to pay for them. But I don't believe that they've been sat holding on to it. There could be a whole host of reasons why they're now spending. One of them, because I'm a negative bugger, could just simply be the fact that they've been coming under increasing pressure over the years for selling our best players and not reinvesting back in the squad. I mean, we're not just talking about them spending their own money. We never really spent the Luis Suarez money properly, and we never did the Sterling money. So this was actually transfers of money coming in that should have technically gone straight back into the pot of the manager to go and be able to strengthen his team. And if you're trying to tell me that this whole story that came out earlier in the about £200 million war chest and all that kind of stuff. If you're telling me that Jurgen Klopp was sat on that and didn't go and get the players he wanted, I don't believe you. I don't. It just wasn't there. It was just completely fictitious bullshit. So I'd be more inclined to say that they're doing it because they're coming under increasing pressure, that if they don't, life is going to get much harder until they finally flog the club for a couple of billion and then bugger off and take their profit.
Yeah, well, that's the other side of it. I give the huge FSG in counter argument, crazy theory. The other big crazy theory on the opposite end of the spectrum is they're now spending money, big money with a view of just the investment and cashing up and getting the team as high as possible. Getting a couple of good players in to take us to the next level.
Look, if Liverpool is going to sell for the most money, having won the league and being up there in the Champions League, then I'm for that as a fan. I mean, look, I've been of the belief since they came in that this was going to be a flip the club and get it done, get it on stable ground, fix the commercial agreements, make it look much better as a business, and then sell it on. I think that's look. I love the main stand. The main stand is beautiful. It's a great stand to be in, and it's a fantastic stand to look at. It's monstrous and it's stunning from the outside. And the Hillsborough Memorial and all that kind of stuff is just absolutely top class. Top class. But they didn't do that for the fan experience. They did that because they could increase revenue and it looked better and it's going to sell for more money.
Yeah, and look. The most important point that you made on there is if you're in or out of the owners or whatever. Most important thing is whoever's the bloody owners that we get success on the pitch, and hopefully 100%. These players will get us that success, because we spoke about finishing second or FA Cup. Why not both? Why not winning the bloody things? Why not win Champions League? Because this team, we spoke about it there with a glimpse in the future. Add one or two more players in, and this is a team that is going to be competing, and with a world class manager with Klopp there as well. And Keita is just a huge. It's not even a couple of steps. This is a huge staircase up in terms of quality in midfield, and Klopp's fingerprints. You look at the squad now and you look back slowly, all the deadwood is getting out. The Rodgers players, if you want to call them that, who are you left with that's still that were Rodgers players? So you have Hendo, you have Mingele, who's not going to be there much longer, or if he is, won't be first choice, and I think he's going to be gone. Gomez, who was he was a young prospect, he was always going to do well. Chan, who knows what's going to happen there. Henderson is not going to be there much longer. Lallana, who's a player that just completely improved when Rodgers
Lallana is a Klopp player, and I don't think either of them knew it until it happened.
Yeah, exactly. And the same with Bobby, is a player that
he wanted him even in Borussia, didn't he? So he's a player he clearly admires.
And who else? Am I missing anyone there, lads? That's going to be the squad.
Well, yeah.
Who?
Dejan.
Klavan,
yeah. Well, yeah, Dejan there as well. Yeah, true. But yeah,
I still stand by. I said it yesterday, and I still stand by it. I think Lovren's going to get much better playing next to Van Dijk. I think Lovren of right now doesn't have a future at Liverpool Football Club for very long. An improved Lovren, who knows what he's capable of.
Exactly.
But Lallana of Southampton has a future at this club.
It's just the only thing is Lallana is nearing 30, like so. That's
also true.
Yeah.
So, there's a terrifying thought. Is this not a dip in form and a squad he's not used to? Is this Dejan Lovren's on his way out?
It could well be.
I mean, there are some players who play well into their 30s and it never seems to affect them. And there are other players that start getting to that late 20s, 30 mark, and suddenly they're playing in the Championship or the lower echelons of the Premier League because they can't do what they once did. Or they bugger off to the MLS, which all the OAPs do.
What I will say about Klopp is he's far more ruthless than people give him credit for. People think he's kind of like this kind of goofy uncle, kind of figure.
He's a fucking bastard.
He showed that with Sacco. He's got a nasty streak about him if he wants to.
He is a snide bollocks, really.
That laugh that he gives when he's cut into players.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you think like he loves X, Y, or Z player, I've done before. Yeah, or he'll sell them just as quick. So, I mean, sometimes you gotta think maybe he likes a player because that's his only option at the given time.
There's the other argument as well. Just while we're making arguments as to the other side of that ridiculous thing that Jono presented, but it could be Klopp. I mean, look, Jurgen Klopp is. We've just been singing his praises, saying he's the best possible manager for Liverpool Football Club. He's not there to make up the numbers. He's there to win things. And if the club aren't backing him, getting the players he needs to do the job that he wants to do, he's going to get fed up and bugger off as well. So might not just be about appeasing the fans that are getting on FSG's back. This could be about keeping Jurgen Klopp. And actually, follow that forward. If Liverpool lost Jurgen Klopp due to lack of support from the board, I think even the FSG in people would have a hard time trying to justify that and put a positive spin on it. God knows what James Pearce would say.
Aren't we told to say?
Yeah, exactly. We didn't want him anyway.
Like he right now in this day and age, it used to be Steven Gerrard that was the thing that attracted people to Liverpool. It's Klopp. Like he is our USP right now because football doesn't wait. You can't live off your history forever. So the most attractive thing to a player right now is Klopp because they can make money anywhere. They can fuck off to China, loads of other English clubs, etc., etc. I mean, there's money awash in the game. So
I mean, we've just said we're romantics with Liverpool, and we definitely are. But you've got to think about this from, let's use an African player. So this guy's from Guinea, right? He supported Liverpool as a boy, so maybe he's not the best example. But we're signing players from all over the world. We're signing Salah from Egypt, right? Does it really matter to a 24, 25-year-old Egyptian, Ghanaian, whatever we're signing, that Liverpool won loads of trophies in the 70s and 80s?
No, it's a job.
Or that we won the Champions League back in 2005 when they were probably still playing in somebody's youth team.
No, it doesn't make a slight difference to them.
They don't care.
Yeah, it's a job.
Yeah, absolutely. So what they want now is success now. They don't want to dine out on what we did before. They want success. They want to know that they're coming to a club to make money, build a better name for themselves, build a better brand, and make money that they can live off for the rest of their lives. Because let's be honest, most football players are thick as shit. How many players have ended up going bankrupt afterwards? This is a money making exercise, and right now their fitness and their talent are the two things that are making them money. So you want to work for a manager that's going to make you progress, that's going to take you forward, that's going to help you make more money, that's help you going to win trophies. That's building a career for them. Look at all the ex-players that get these ex-player dinners and ex-player dues and ex-player deals and all this kind of stuff. They're all players that won stuff. Nobody wants to sit and have a conversation with somebody about when they finished sixth.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't even like watching the season. Why would we want to relive it 10 years later?
I think we'll have to get used to this Liverpool spending massively because it takes a certain kind of player to get you to fourth, but then it takes another kind of player to get you from fourth to first.
Very much so.
This is what we're going to have to do. Like, we can't go backwards. I mean, as great as last season was, it took us the last game of the season to secure fourth.
And we fell over the line.
Exactly.
Well, look at Torres as a great example. Torres wanted to win. Simple as that. Torres wanted to win things. And Torres was desperate to win things at Liverpool. And playing really well on the Spanish national side alongside David Villa. We must have been linked with David Villa for about 3 years. And it never happened. And then eventually Torres went, yeah, fuck this. They're never going to do it. They're just dining out on me. That's it. I'm going to go win trophies somewhere else. And he did it in the wrong way. And he's semi-made up for it since. But he did it in the wrong way. But he's a young man. And he's a young man that wanted to win things. So, yes, okay, take out the romantic, rose-tinted spectacles that we wear as Liverpool fans. He's a young man that wants to win things and make money. I'm not surprised he left. I don't think Torres ever would have left in a month of Sundays if we'd have signed David Villa and David Silva, both of whom we were linked with forever. Yeah,
because he's a Atletico Madrid fan. It was his job to play for Liverpool. And right then, at that moment, Liverpool were a mess. I mean, if you were a really talented person in your field of work and your company was an absolute mess and you didn't know the direction it was going to go, if you had an offer from somewhere else to pay you more money, you're going to take it.
And you just hit the nail on the head. He's an Atletico Madrid fan, which is exactly who he left to come here.
Yeah.
So if he was prepared to leave Atletico to try and go and win things, what made us think he wasn't going to do the same to us?
Yeah, exactly. Because he was never going to win anything there at that time.
No, No. And he felt the pressure. He felt like he was carrying the team. So he wanted to go and join a team of superstars, people that were playing well, so he could be one of the talents but not feel as much pressure and enjoy his football again. And slowly but surely, we stripped that squad down. We sold the assets, replaced them with average players, and then he ended up carrying Liverpool as well. Yep. So he left. This was not a surprise.
And like your career is a 15-year window. Like you want to look back in it and have a few thoughts. And a few good memories. Like
absolutely.
Like at the time, I absolutely despise him because I think.
Oh, so did I. Yeah, I was heartbroken.
Chelsea are my least favorite club. I actually prefer United to Chelsea. I can't stand.
It's not saying something.
I can't stand that football club. So, but you know what? Like I think
in order of teams I detest, it would be United, Real Madrid, Spurs, and then Chelsea.
Surely Everton has to get a look in there, folks. No,
I don't like Everton, but I don't hate them. I don't want them to not exist anymore.
They're funny,
and I don't want to punch them. Yeah, they are funny, but I don't want to hurt them. I'm gonna admit this. I'm gonna admit this. When Everton won the Europa League a few years ago, and Liverpool weren't in the same competition, and they got quite high, I think they started doing quite well. They were getting to the quarters or the semis or whatever it was. I was genuinely sat hoping that they do well, which was a weird feeling. But I wanted them.
This call is starting to go a bit.
No, I did.
I
wanted them to do well because I thought it's nice for them to get a bit of success. They didn't do it. They fucked it up as usual, which I also enjoyed, which was a weird sensation. But I'd never cheer for United. I mean, it's that saying, isn't it? I'm a Liverpool fan plus anyone that plays against United.
Yeah.
I've just learned two things tonight. Two staggering pieces of news. One is that we've signed Naby Keita. The second is I need to reconsider my friendship with Phil.
Oh, fuck you then.
I actually think Everton, the club, are kind of classy the way they dealt in the aftermath of
Hillsborough, and they're very good at charity. They're a very charitable club. They're very big in the community. So there's a lot of stuff there.
No, I agree.
I can't. I mean, United could genuinely just go and do the most charitable thing ever, and I'd still think they're a bunch of dickheads.
But Everton fans, though, are the worst. They're so small time and so obsessed with Liverpool. Like, they know more about Liverpool than we do. I mean, you should really just get Everton fans on here to talk about Liverpool because they've got a better insight and know more than we do. So,
well, for all the bitters listening, we've given you a bit of a compliment there, but we've won the transfer window.
Oh, brilliant.
So, Naby Keita. Look, I just can't wait. It still feels a bit surreal at the minute. I'm very excited, but it still feels a bit surreal. But I'm going to be like a big kid when I see him in a Liverpool shirt for the first time, and when I see him doing the Melwood lean and doing that really uncomfortable interview where they stick him on a quite clearly uncomfortable chair under a spotlight and grill them about how they feel.
What
do you think? Intense therapy.
Do you think he'll play Swansea, or will he wait till the FA Cup?
When is Swansea?
Swansea's Monday week.
He'll be on the bench, I'd say. Would be my guess.
I would have thought West Brom in the Cup the following Saturday is probably more likely.
I think.
Yeah.
No. I think he'll get game time against Swansea. I did it with Van Dijk, and I'm doing it with this.
Okay, I hope you're right again. I'll just go.
How do those words taste?
Oh God, yeah.
You also need to tell me the ones that come after that. So if I was right, what does that make you?
What does that make me? Mistaken.
You still can't say it. The word you're looking for is wrong. Fucking wrong.
It's not wanker.
Say again?
It begins with W, but it's not wanker.
Yeah, exactly. You just can't say it. I've been trying to get him to say it for days, and he just physically cannot say that word.
Can't bring myself to that. But look, I think to sum up, it's Keita. What a wonderful, wonderful piece of business. Cannot wait to see him march up and down the pitch in that number 8 and start kicking the shit into everybody and start driving through. It's going to be amazing. He's going to become a cult hero. It'll be like,
absolutely.
You think back to how Arsenal fans absolutely adored Vieira back in the day at the old Highbury. Like, I mean, they idolised him because he was he was to them like, you know, people could see themselves in us. This was an angry guy in the middle of the pitch doing everything they could to get his team to win. If that meant kicking someone, he did it. If that meant scoring a goal, he did it. And we're now going to have not comparing them to two, but our leader in that middle of the field like that we can relate to. He's definitely going to be a cult hero.
I think so. I think we'll love him.
Along with Van Dijk, you know, here we go, folks.
Two phenomenal signings. This is very, very exciting.
So exciting.
You know, even if this season now is, look, we want to win stuff. We want to finish as high as we possibly can in the league. But even if this season right now is classed as a bit of a warm-up for next season where they just start to get them to gel together, some of them will have a proper pre-season, some of them will hopefully have a good World Cup and come back buzzing, and then we hit the new season absolutely on fire and just blow teams away. I think it's it's very exciting. It's weird to be looking forward to next season already, but I'm just looking forward to watching them play as much football as humanly possible.
Absolutely.
Sturridge and Coutinho, and they came in, had 6 months, and then the next season was 13-14, where we just set the league on fire for most of the season.
That's a really good example. Really good example.
Momentum is real football. I mean, some people like to say it isn't, but I believe in it.
I believe in momentum. Momentum is what helped Leicester win the league. We mentioned it earlier. They just got into a habit of winning, and what a fantastic habit to have.
Yeah, it's really measured by, but like it brings confidence. And it's priceless. So I think if we get them in now, get 6 really good months out of them, a full preseason, because Guinea and Holland, neither of them are in the World Cup. It seems weird to see Netherlands in the World Cup. They're going to have a full, hopefully uninterrupted preseason with us. And Klopp is one of the best developmental coaches in the world. So once he gets that training time with them, the sky is the limit.
What a mental World Cup that's going to be.
It's just going to be so strange.
Not just because of where it is, but there's I'm slightly concerned about that anyway, but there's just some really, really big household names that just aren't there.
Yeah, like Ireland aren't there.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, I'll be watching the World Cup going, it's just not the same without the big green. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I think we've said all there is to say for this evening. I hope you've enjoyed listening to us. Look forward to the news being announced officially that Naby Keita is a Liverpool player. That's going to be an extremely exciting moment. And like everybody else, I will be breaking the Liverpool website by refreshing those videos and reading the articles and the quotes and everything else. Once again, we are massively hypocritical because we were furious at Coutinho for doing this, and Keita has done it again, as did Van Dijk. And just down tools to get here. But as Sean said yesterday, no, it wasn't Sean. It was Richie.
No, so Kevin.
Richie.
Kevin Murphy, was it?
Kevin Ritchie. Yeah. So Kevin said, it's horrendous when people do it to us, but it's brilliant when people do it to come to us. And I think that's a fantastic moment to end this evening on. So welcome to Liverpool Football Club, Naby Keita. I'm sure you're listening. You're a big fan of the show. That's a lie. We'll get you on one day. Busy schedules and all that. But congratulations, up the Reds. Welcome to Liverpool.